Dear students, today we are going to study the second part of self-management skills which we have seen yesterday. We are currently studying Unit 2 self-management skills and this is session 2 under employability skills part A. In the previous class, I have discussed with you what are the various topics we have to study under Unit 2 self-management skills. The first part of self-management skills was stress management techniques or stress management. In this, we have seen what is stress, what are the different techniques which are used to handle stress, what are positive and negative stress. We have seen the meaning and importance of stress and the techniques which involve physical exercise, yoga, meditation, enjoying going to vacation and holidays with family and friends, taking nature walks, all this and some more techniques, additional techniques we have discussed in the last class. I have also given you an exercise to write an essay on your experiences during your holiday trip, which you are supposed to complete in your classwork copy. Now, this is the second part of self-management skills in which we are going to study the ability to work independently. The overall learning outcome or the objective of studying this part of self-management skills is to develop an ability to work independently within the students. So in this we are going to see what is the importance of the ability to work independently, what actually working independently means, describe the type of self-awareness and the meaning of self-motivation and self-regulation. So we are going to see three terms in this second part of the unit. They are self-awareness, self-motivation and self-regulation, which are the parts of self-management skills. At the end of the session, I am going to give you some assignment or homework, which is the practical part of this unit. So let's begin with the second part of self-management skills. So here we are recalling what we have learned in the previous session. I have already discussed with you. We have seen the meaning and importance of stress management. We have also seen what is the definition of stress, what stress means, and the various techniques which we have discussed in the last session. How can we manage stress? So stress management is important. Being a student, you are learning so many subjects and other stress also you are managing. So after completion of this session, you will be able to manage your stress more effectively. So here we are going to see what is the importance and ability to work independently, various types of self-awareness, the meaning of self-motivation and self-regulation. So what it means to be independent? First of all, we are going to see what being independent means. Independent means you are becoming self-aware, self-monitoring and self-correcting. That is, if you have to work independently on a task or on a work given, then to work independently, you need to be self-aware. You have to know your strengths, your weaknesses, your capabilities. Also, you have to be self-monitoring because there will be no one to monitor you or your completion or progress of your task. So you have to monitor all by yourself. And also self-correcting, again there will be no one to point out your mistakes or to correct you, so you need to be self-correcting. Also you must know what you need to do, that is whatever task you have taken, you must be aware of how to complete it or what is the necessity or the requirement of the task, taking the initiative rather than waiting to be told what to do. So again, you should take the initiative by yourself, because there would be no one to ask you to do something. So in order to work independently, you have to take the initiative yourself, doing what is asked to the best of your ability and working under the job until the job is completed. Again, you have to work until the job is completed, and you have to give your best effort, and you have to work at the best of your ability in order to get the task completed. Learning to work at a pace that you can sustain. Again, you should not be too slow at work or too fast. You have to keep a pace or a particular speed at which you have to complete that task. Taking ownership of your mistakes without looking for excuses. Again, you have to admit your mistakes, and you have to take your ownership. You have to admit your mistakes, and you don't have to find excuses for whatever wrong or whatever mistakes have been done. Refusing to let self doubt or negative emotions due to negative past experiences take you off course. So, if there are doubts, if there are negative emotions and feelings, they can prevent you from completing the task. And the past experiences also can be very bitter. So the past experiences, your doubts, your negative emotions, you must avoid them so as to work independently. So being independent takes all these, you have to keep in mind all these points in order to work independently. What is the importance of working independently? Suppose you are working independently on a task without any group or without any teamwork, then you would be then you would be more self dependent, and you can accomplish the work without any teamwork. Being able to work independently means accomplishing the work assigned to you without involving other people. So if you are not involving other people, you can work more effectively. You can work at your own pace, taking your own time. You will be your own boss. You don't have to listen to the person or your boss. And also, you can develop your capabilities while working independently. This includes planning of an activity. So all these must be a part of working independently. That is, you must plan an activity, you must execute the task by yourself. So planning, execution, and also set a time period or a specific period in which you have to complete that task. So being independent, if you have to be independent, you have to keep these points in mind: self-awareness, self-motivation, and self-regulation. Self-awareness means, as I've already told you, you must know your strengths, your weaknesses, your capabilities, what are your likes and dislikes. All these must be known to you. You must be aware of your own self. Then you can work independently. If you are taking a task at hand, you must uh, know your skill set, your capabilities before taking that, and also you must know your limitations, whether you will be able to complete that task or not. Secondly, self motivation. If there is nobody to motivate you and you are working all by yourself, then you must be self motivating. Otherwise, if the motivation is not there, you may not be able to complete the task on a given schedule, or you may not be able to complete it at all. So you have to be self motivating. And then self regulation. Self regulation means you must be able to work upon given time schedules. So let's discuss these topics one by one and see, for being independent, how do you need all these three keys. Self awareness. Self awareness refers to your knowledge and understanding of yourself, your emotions, beliefs, assumptions, biases, knowledge base, abilities, motivation, interests, etc. So, self awareness means that you must be knowing whether you would be able to complete a task by yourself, or you can complete it in a team, being a part of the team. So if you have all the skill set, your motivation is there, you are aware of your capabilities, you are aware of your limitations, you can decide whether you can complete a task independently or not. So all these are emotions, beliefs, assumptions, biases, knowledge base, abilities, motivation, interest. If you are aware of all of these, you can undertake a task to complete it by yourself. Personality assessment can also be very useful in helping you gain insight into yourself, your strengths, weaknesses, motivators, and provide you with insight into how to grow personally and professionally. Personality assessment is also useful in knowing yourself, your strength, weakness, motivators. So, all of these, knowing your capabilities is a key to self awareness. If you are self aware, then you can decide for yourself what type of task you can undertake, what is the schedule under which you can complete, or whether you cannot complete it, or whether it is beyond your skill set. Second point to discuss is self motivation. Self motivation again is a very key concept and in working independently. Self motivation refers to your ability to identify effective methods of getting yourself to move from thought to action. If you keep on dreaming, if you keep on thinking that you have to do a particular task, but you do not implement it, then that task will not complete at all. So, in order to complete a task, you need to convert your thoughts to action. So everyone is different. Some individuals are highly self-motivated, while others require the imposition of external deadlines or some type of reward or penalty in order to move from thought to action. This is what happens when a person tries to work independently, but he is lacking self motivation. Then he cannot work independently. He has to work in a team where he gets some external deadlines or some punishment, rewards, or pressure from his supervisors in order to complete the task. So there are some people who are self motivated and can complete a task by their own motivation, whereas there are some other people who have to be pressurized in order to complete a task. Identifying your specific needs in this area is the first step. A common barrier to action is often the perception that a task is too large or too complex to accomplish. If you think that a task is very difficult, if you think that a task cannot be done within a time schedule, then it is obvious that if your undertaking or your perception for the task is too negative, then it is definite that you will not be able to accomplish it. So you need to change your perception in order to undertake a particular work or task. If that is an issue for you, then an useful practice is to break down the job into several smaller, more doable tasks, each of which you can envision accomplishing in a set time period. So if a task seems to be very heavy or very complex, and that is your perception, then what you can do is you can divide that task into smaller tasks so that they look achievable. So if a task is very complex, you can simplify it by breaking it up into smaller parts, and then you can accomplish each smaller task, and finally you can complete a bigger task. Self-regulation focuses on your ability to affect personal and professional growth based on your self-awareness and motivation. So, self-regulation is based on self-awareness and motivation, which we have studied in the previous slides. Useful question you should ask yourself in an effort to self-regulate are the following. So, self-regulation means if you are undertaking a task, then you must ask yourself certain questions like how will you supervise your work, because if there is nobody to supervise your work, how would you supervise your work by yourself? How will you check your work that whether it is going to completion, whether its quality is maintained? So you have to decide what would be the criteria of supervision, whether it would be daily, weekly, monthly, or and so on. And you have to fix your deadlines. You have to ask yourself what are the deadlines within which you have to complete this work. What are the formal requirements, if any, for completing my work? All that is required for completing your work, all the resources which are required, you must ask yourself what are those resources for completing your work? What are the outcomes that I desire? You have also to ask yourself what is the output of that work, or what are the outcomes of the work that you desire. what, if anything, do I need to do in order to achieve these outcomes? So, if your target is fixed, you have to fix your target, ask yourself what you must accomplish, and in order to accomplish that, you need to ask yourself what resources you want, what deadlines you have to follow, and how would you supervise your work, what are the outcomes you have to achieve, and what you need to do in order to achieve those outcomes. So, this session is a very small session. In the next class, we are going to start with a new topic. This is the last part of this topic. So, you have to write these two questions in your copy in the homework side of your notebook. Answer these two questions. What are the qualities required to work independently? We have discussed what are the qualities required to work independently, and you can write down after understanding the lesson. Define self awareness, self motivation, and self regulation. We have also seen these quality 1 and 2 are basically the same question. In the first one, you have to write the qualities, in the second one, you have to describe them. So, with this, we end with the unit 2 of our employability skills. In the next class, we are going to begin with the third unit. Thank you.